Hey everyone, Anthony Labella here with eXp Realty. And if you're watching this video, that means you have made it to the stage or are curious about the final walkthrough process. What is a final walkthrough? A final walkthrough is the walkthrough or viewing of a home that you are purchasing or that you may be selling right before the closing. This is something that you would want to schedule the day of the closing or immediately before, maybe 24 hours prior. You really don't want to stretch it longer than that. And the purpose of the walkthrough is to go through and make sure that what you signed, what you agreed upon when you signed the contract to purchase the house is here at the closing. So for example, you want to make sure that all the appliances are still here, that there's no damage to the house, that the Wolf range that was here when you bought the house was not replaced by a GE oven. Not that there's anything wrong with GE, but I'm just illustrating a point. You want to make sure that there are no leaks. You want to make sure that the electric is working, the heat is working, everything is working. If there are any issues prior to the closing that you find during the walkthrough, you then bring that up to your attorney. But let's go through and quickly take a look at things you would want to look at or your agent should be looking at when doing that final walkthrough. I'm going to turn this camera around and we'll start going through the process. So I'm just going to illustrate in this room, but this is something you would do for every part of the home that you're purchasing. And this is what you should expect when a buyer walks through your home if you are the seller. Okay, this is not a formal inspection. It is a walkthrough. All items and repairs in a formal inspection would have been covered already in your contract of sale. But anyway, when you come in, I'm going to act as if I'm a buyer or representing my buyer clients. I'm just going to make sure that there's no damage, meaning no broken windows, no broken sheetrock. All the appliances here, like this air conditioner, the windows, nothing is cracked. There's no damage to the radiators. There's no damage to the floors. Okay, and you want to make sure that it's in the condition at closing as it was when you first decided to make an offer on the home. All right. Then what you're going to do is, and you're going to do this in every bathroom or every sink in the house, is run hot water. And you're going to wait until you start getting hot water and you're going to confirm, or your buyer's agent should be confirming, that there's hot water in the home. Okay, you're then going to move on to your stove. You're going to check every burner and you are going to make sure that it lights on every burner. You're going to make sure your hood fan works. You're going to make sure the lights on the hood fan work. You are also going to check every outlet. You can get a voltage tester, an outlet tester, to make sure there's electricity in every outlet. And what you can also do is just get a cell phone charger, plug in your cell phone charger, and if it shows that you're charging on your phone, that means the outlet is working. Okay, you're also going to turn your oven on. You're going to make sure that, you're going to walk around and make sure that the oven heats up, make sure that's working. You're going to check your refrigerator. You're going to make sure that the refrigerator portion of the refrigerator is on and cool. And you're going to go and check the freezer and make sure everything is cold there. Obviously we have ice here, so we know that that's working. You're going to check your microwave. You're going to run the microwave and make sure that's all working. You're also going to run your dishwasher. You're going to turn that on and make sure it's running properly. You're going to check that. Moving into the bathroom, we're going to do the same thing as we did in the kitchen. You're going to check for hot water. Make sure you have hot water running in the sinks. Okay? You're also, as that hot water is running, you're going to be checking under the cabinetry to make sure there's no leaks from the running water. No leaks there. We're also going to check the toilets. We're going to flush. We're going to make sure there's nothing leaking out of the bottom of the toilet. Everything is sealed. And then you would go down to the basement and make sure that there's nothing leaking in the basement from that toilet flush. We'll close that up. Then you're going to run to your shower. And you're then going to turn the water on and make sure that you have hot water running out of there. You're going to run the tub. You're going to make sure that you have hot water running there, as well as no leaks from the tub. And then you're also going to check that downstairs to make sure there are no leaks as well coming through the floor. We're now in the basement of the home directly under the kitchen. We're making sure that there are no leaks from running the water. There are no leaks in the ceilings from running the water upstairs and flushing the toilets. Checking the mechanicals. Checking that there is no water anywhere leaking. No water coming out of the pipes, no water dripping from the ceilings. And then finally, you're going to find your washer and dryer units and run those and make sure those are all working as well. You're making sure all appliances are working before you go to your closing. That pretty much sums it up, everyone. If you go through all of these steps and make sure everything's fine, you should have a nice, smooth, easy closing. If there are issues or something is not working, contact your attorney and settle it at the closing table. Happy closing. Take care.